Welcome to the second episode of Sprocket and Chubbs. In this episode, we get to hear from Sprocket and his experience at the NRA Great American Outdoor Show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Aaron spent Saturday and Sunday supporting Latitude Outdoors in their booth, showcasing the new Carbon Speed Series sticks, introducing saddle hunting to new hunters, to experienced hunters, and also comparing their products to the 4 other saddle vendors that were out the show. We also talked about CVA muzzleloaders, suppressors, e-bikes, and all the other bright and shiny things Sprocket had the opportunity to lay his eyes on. Grab a beverage, or don't, and join Chubbs as he chats with Sprocket about his expo experience. But first, let's hear Chubbs talk about our title sponsors.
Are you looking for the best camouflage apparel and hunting packs on the planet? Badlands lives and breathes technology, performance, and quality. Sprocket and Chubbs love the innovative hunting apparel in the Approach and Approach FX camouflage patterns. There is apparel and a Badlands backpack for every hunting style. Badlands also offers their legendary unconditional lifetime warranty. To find out more, visit badlandsgear.com. The king of adjustable pin archery sights, HHA Sports is home of the Tetra Rise 2-pin slider. Featuring a fixed secondary pin and secondary yardage marker, the Tetra Rise allows you to adjust your aiming point at full draw. With a silky 2.1 inches of travel, the Tetra Rise features the longest sight tapes they have ever built for unmatched long-range accuracy. HHA sights are proudly made in the USA and carry a 100% lifetime warranty. Find out more at hhasports.com or visit your local archery dealer today. When you think Latitude Outdoors, you think saddle hunting. Latitude Outdoors is fueled by creativity and obsessed with the details. And their saddles are made right here in the USA. As far as we're concerned, Latitude Outdoors makes the very best hunting saddles on the market. High quality gear that is safe, comfortable, and simply fun to hunt from. There's a Latitude Outdoors saddle for every size and shape hunter out there. Want to learn more about saddle hunting? Go to latitudeoutdoors.com and have fun. Who do Sprocket and Chubbs rely on for our optics needs? Vortex Optics. Binoculars, rifle scopes, rangefinders, and more, Vortex offers premium products that are an investment in your hunting future. Their customers are at the center of everything they do. Their VIP warranty, where the VIP stands for Very Important Promise, means if your Vortex product becomes damaged or defective, they will repair or replace it at no charge to you. For all your optics needs, visit vortexoptics.com. Good evening, Aaron. How are you?
Al, I'm good.
Besides both of us being pretty tired and having a busy weekend, it's been a good weekend. Why don't you tell everybody where you've been for the past few days?
So I am in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, attending the NRA Great American Outdoor Show. Some people call it GAOS for short. It is boasted as the largest outdoor show in America, which I'm thinking that would probably make it the largest in the world.
No kidding. Now you've been there. You've gone to the show before. Do you think that it really is the greatest outdoor show? Is it mainly outdoors?
So for the shows that I have been to, it's the largest that I have ever attended. This is my third year, not in a row, but this is my third year in attendance. The first 2 times I went just on my own to attend the show with a hunting partner. This year I'm with a company. It's the biggest show I've ever been to. It encompasses everything. They have firearms and anything related to firearms. They have a full indoor 3D shoot and competition. They have a separate fishing hall. They have an outdoor section. They have a complete guide section that has international guides, domestic guides, any type of animal that you can think of to hunt in the United States, Texas exotics, book South America hunts. a huge amount of call manufacturers. They have a boat section. It's stellar.
That's awesome. And how long has this show been going on? I don't even know.
I don't, honestly, I don't know. I probably should have researched that before we jumped on this call. It's been going on for a long time, and I know that it brings in a massive amount of revenue for the local area.
I wondered because, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania really isn't that far of a drive from where I grew up, and I never went to this show. And I'm going to have to at some point. Tell me, what can somebody like me who's never been to this, what can they expect to, if they wanted to go with a goal in mind, would you recommend that, that they go with, okay, if you're going to go for strictly archery or you're going to look at a couple of firearms manufacturers, have a plan ahead of time. I mean, this year you went with a company, but the 2 years that you went prior, what was your goal? What was your mindset?
So I would go with the mindset of having at the minimum one full day to venture through the entire show. One full day. It varies in hours. So you may, if you go on a Sunday, it's only open from 10 to 5. So 7 hours today. And with the volume of people that were moving through the show, you would have a hard time really catching everything, I think, just because there's so many people. If you went during the weekday, a Monday through Thursday, you would be able to really enjoy the show in its entirety, front to back, side to side. But if you're only going, if all you're interested in archery, you could easily do it in one day. But if you're into firearms, if you're into archery, if you're into hunting as a whole, if you're into fishing, if you were going to potentially book a guide for a turkey hunt or a whitetail hunt or an elk hunt, or maybe you were considering doing a South Africa hunt, you would 100% have to schedule one entire full day, if not two.
Well, you and I both attended ATA, and we know how, that's, much smaller than it used to be. Decent sized show for sure, but it's all strictly archery. If
pales in comparison.
Sure. But what I was going to say is with ATA, you're only there for 3 days. This one is what, an 8-day show?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now let me ask you this. Does your ticket price include all 8 days, or do you have to pay each day?
No, each day.
Each day.
Each day.
So if you really, really want to go and cover everything, you're going to have to pay for it. But it sounds like, and I've only seen some pictures of this year's show, a pretty incredible show.
It's a great place to go. You need to plan on arriving early. If you think that you can arrive to that area 15 minutes before the show starts and you'll be in the door within 10 to 15 minutes after it opens, you're sorely mistaken. You'll sit in traffic for 30 to 45 minutes trying to pay to park and then get into the show. You can buy tickets ahead of time. So that's a huge benefit. If you're going to go and you're coming from out of the area, I recommend making a hotel room in advance, planning to arrive early and just either find a parking spot and sit in your car or go get in line, and you will stand in line. There's people standing in line 30 minutes before the doors open. And I would look at the map and identify some key places that you want to see, and then figure out how you will navigate through the rooms and the corridors to get there. And just plan to enjoy the show. But you can buy your ticket in advance online, and then you bypass everybody standing in line paying cash or credit card to get in, and you can just go through the electronic ticket section and you'll get in a lot faster. It's a 2A friendly event, so you are not being stripped of firearms or knives or weapons. You can buy firearm parts and or weapons at the show. So if you come carrying concealed, it's free will.
Nice. Unlike the western part of the United States here, but we won't go into that. We don't have enough time. Well, I know you were there with Latitude Outdoors. So tell me about that. I mean, you were basically in their booth most of the time, weren't you? Were you not?
Outside of a couple of bathroom breaks, and I did make a couple of quick trips to see a couple of people there. I was in the Latitude exhibit interacting with new saddle hunters, experienced saddle hunters, folks that had never seen a saddle all day Saturday and all day today.
And for those that didn't listen to our first podcast or haven't been following us on social media, Aaron got me into saddle hunting, and I absolutely love it. And it was a Latitude Outdoors saddle, and every chance I get, I can get out in a tree out here and just sit in it. So I saw plenty of pictures of you sitting in a saddle, and what was the experience like with I know you're more used to the Northeast now than and even I am for the last 20 years. What was crowd like?
It was thick. So it's
really?
Opening weekend. It was packed, and the doors opened at 9 on Saturday, 10 on Sunday, and we were where we were at. So Latitude did not finalize their plans in time to secure booth space or exhibit space in the archery wing. So we were back in the main hunting wing, which I truly believe was a benefit, because it pulled us away from all of the other tree saddle and elevated style of hunting companies. So when people encountered us, I think we may have been able to engage with them a little bit more, because they did not have the other saddle companies within view to wander over to while you're interacting with them. But there were so many people within 15 minutes of doors opening. The aisleways were packed.
Wow.
The volume of people there in 2 days, we met the sales goal that Latitude Outdoors had for the first 3 days the show was going to be open. We met it in 2 days.
That's fantastic.
I'm hoarse. I have been speaking nonstop for 2 days. My throat hurts. My lips are chapped. I'm hoarse. I'm losing my voice.
It sounds like you had a lot of fun. That's what it sounds like.
my favorite part. So again, this was a new experience for me at the NRA show this year, being there with an exhibit. My favorite part of this year was watching the light bulb go off for folks that were either new to saddle hunting and or had never really seen or been in a saddle, because they have the display set up. So we had platforms on cedar poles, and people could actually sit in saddles, try the Rebel and the X-Wing platform. They could try the difference between a single panel saddle and a 2-panel saddle. And watching these folks come in and listen to you speak about your experience or what saddle hunting is about and what the benefits are, and putting them in the actual equipment and putting them on a platform, and them walking away with a new exciting product in their hand with new adventures ahead of them. It was an incredible experience.
I think it's pretty awesome too that they can come in and they can buy the gear right there. Unlike some of the other trade shows that I've been to, where you might be able to place an order and you'll get it in 6 to 8 weeks. You can walk away with a set of, were they selling the sticks there?
Sticks are on pre-order.
Gotcha. Now, how did a lot of people take to those?
Oh yes.
I remember seeing them and trying them out, and I'm more than impressed, as were many people. But I was curious about the Northeast. They can be very set in their ways, and I'm pretty happy to hear that they were jumping at that. And
so this morning, I would have to pull their names up on Facebook. The mother has started following me on Facebook. Within the first hour of opening this morning, a family came through, and one family member was using a saddle. The rest of them were not. And when they came to our exhibit, they had zero interest in hearing, seeing, or trying a saddle. But the one family member had brought them in that direction because they were really excited about it and they wanted to see the new sticks that Latitude had. So I spent probably 40 to 45 minutes with this family, showing them saddles, putting them in saddles, had them on platforms, talking about all the benefits of saddles, how they work, all of your adjustment points, a single panel, a two panel, the safety factors of it, the whole thing. And by the time I was parched and exhausted and they were tired of hearing me talk and share my excitement for saddle hunting, I had them convinced to go try all the other saddles that were there. There were 5 companies at the show. Well, I shouldn't say that they're here all week. There's 5 companies that have some type of a saddle presence. And I did what every saddle company should do. I encouraged them to go sit in every saddle that was there. And as they left, they told me that they were going to do so. And I just waved at them and I said, I'll see you in a couple of hours. Well, Al, they returned and the entire family bought Latitude Outdoor saddle setups. The entire family.
No kidding.
And they're all from Pennsylvania and they have property and they're all going to go to hunting camp this fall and they're all going to hunt out of Latitude Outdoor saddles.
That's awesome. And I'm not surprised. I mean,
it was fantastic, Al.
I mean, you're a good salesman, but also Latitude makes an awesome product. And I would recommend to anybody, if you get a chance to go to a show like this, fortunately, you and I had talked about saddles and I was able to try your saddle out, last summer. But if you get a chance to go to one of these shows where you can go to the Latitude Outdoors booth and try their different saddles, try their platforms, see if you like it, which I almost guarantee you're going to get hooked. It's a huge benefit instead of having to order it, try it, see what you think, send it back or keep it. But going to those shows where you've recommended many times to many people that I've heard, try them all out. Try them out. Get yourself situated. Find the one that's right for you at each booth. And we'll see you. And you see you in a couple hours, and here they come. That's fantastic. That's such great news.
I love the saddle industry with my soul. I love the sport. I also want people to be happy and safe and enjoy saddle hunting as much as I do. What that means is not everybody is going to wear a Latitude Outdoor saddle. That's just the mechanics and the design of it, where we all do not wear the same pair of pants. But what I do enjoy at another level is being transparent with people and encourage them to sit in ours, both the single and two panel, and then to go sit in every other manufacturer that's there. And I find that when I encourage people to do so, a lot of them end up coming back to us because one, our 2-panel style. When I say our, I don't work for Latitude Outdoors. I just really, really love the company. So I should, rather than say our, I should say their or Latitude. They tend to come back because we're not afraid to be open and encourage people to go try other products because we believe in our product that much. I am not intimidated in one way, shape, or form to encourage a new user to go try another saddle because I firmly believe they're going to come back to Latitude Outdoors.
I'm not surprised. Either way, I mean, even just getting another person in a saddle. I mean, look at last summer when you got me in a saddle. I mean, that one guy that came walking by, I'd always love to try it. Hop in. And here he is, tickled pink that he's actually in a saddle and that you'd let him use it. It's not going to break it, use it, try it, So it's very encouraging to hear. And I'm pretty stoked that it worked out so well. So
this evening, within the last 45 minutes of the show being open, and it died down, the last hour, it slowed to a trickle. And it was kind of a quiet time. And by the time the show officially shut down, there was 5 of us in the Latitude exhibit. We're sitting on a cooler, drinking water and cracking a bush light and waiting for the traffic to die down. Because Saturday night we left as soon as the show shut down, we bugged out, and then we sat in our trucks for probably 35 to 40 minutes trying to get out of the parking lot. So tonight we just sat on a cooler and cracked open a bush light, and we just started chatting. And the booth across from us, I think it's Freak Outdoors. They have a TV show and t-shirts and hats and whatnot. They came over and we're all talking, introduced them to saddles as well. But it just died down. But anyhow, it was within the last hour of closing, a Mike Miller sized man comes up to our booth. And I happened to be about 3 feet off the ground. I was in the saddle on an X-Wing, just relaxing, sipping a cold beer, enjoying myself and giving my foot a break from the concrete. And for those that don't know who Mike Miller is, he's part of the Badlands Operative Pro staff, and he's a mountain of a man. One of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet, but he's a big man. He's a healthy man. And I mean, when I say healthy, I'm talking about he's a tall drink of water and he's wide as a door. And so this man comes in with a tight muscular shirt on, and I'm hanging out on the X-Wing, and he walks up to me and he's eyeballing it and said, "Hey, do you have any questions?" And he was like, "Yeah, is this platform really what it's cracked up to be?" And I said, "Yeah, it's my favorite platform." And he looked at me and he said, "Well, yeah, of course you're going to say that. They pay you to say that." And so that was the first time at the show that I did not volunteer the information openly to somebody, that I was actually questioned or challenged. And, I was able to give him the response that, no, I'm not paid by Latitude. I'm here because I love their products. I love the company, and it's made in America, and I love America. And he's like, and it caught him off guard. And then he starts asking me about the geometry of the X-Wing and if it was really, really worth what it was. And I had a Busch Latte in one hand and I had my phone in the other hand. And he said, "I want you to push around the side of it for that off-angle shot." So with my hands full, I just gently maneuvered myself around that cedar pole on the X-Wing, and I'm standing there on it. He's like, "All right, that's pretty impressive. I can see how that works." And we're chatting and this and that. And then he happened to look down and he says, "Holy cow. I didn't even notice that you were missing a leg." I was like, "Oh yeah, pretty much all day long, every day. Yeah, that's the way it is." And he said, "Wow, I think I'm going to have to come back tomorrow and buy this platform." I was like, "I think you're making a great choice." It was hilarious.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, he was hugging on me. He said, "I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed." I was like, "What are you embarrassed for?" It's like, sometimes I forget that I've got a fake leg down there. It's nothing to be, you don't worry about it. It's all good. Just come back and buy a platform.
That's great. Well, I have to admit too that, I've used both the Rebel and the X-Wing, and I love the X-Wing. I do, after I tried your setup out in Nebraska, I'm glad I swapped, because it just, for me, it just gives you a little bit more comfort and a little bit more maneuverability. And I think that's a huge thing, especially, there's a lot of people that they're so used to their climbers or whatever. They want a big platform and they want to have it so that they can stand on it or whatever. Not me, not anymore, not in a saddle.
I mean, we can sit here and talk about Latitude Outdoors all night long, and let's get away from the saddle topic and get back to the show itself. Because not that I had a lot of time to wander around this year. I did show up an hour and a half early this morning, and I ran through the entire facility so that I could share with you and our listeners some highlights for me. And this is going to be through the view of Aaron Ritter and what I was interested in. I wanted to see CVA's new Acura LRX and MRX, their new muzzleloaders. Phenomenal rifles. I might have to spend some money on the MRX. MRX stands for mountain rifle. It is a break open with a threaded or removable breech plug muzzleloader. It has a 1 in 22 twist on a 26-inch barrel. It's a 45 caliber rifle. And I learned all this today. Most of your industry 50 or 45 caliber rifles have a 1 in 28-inch twist. So your bullet is not achieving a full rotation by the time it leaves the muzzle. With this tighter twist, you now get a full rotation. It's a far more accurate muzzleloader. It's a beautiful rifle. And it has a it has a bedded barrel, a floating barrel in it. So
Oh, wow.
it's cool. It's a very, very unique muzzle loader. Stopped by Savage Firearms. Savage is back in the pistol game. Last year they launched a subcompact 9mm. It's a metal slide polymer frame. They now are back in the 1911 game. They have a full frame. They have 3 different models of the full frame 1911. And I didn't know, I learned this today. Savage was in the running for the 1911 in what was it, World War I, World War II? World War II for sure.
I didn't know that.
They were in the running. They were in competition with Browning and they lost. And when that happened, they slowly drifted away from sidearms and just focused on rifles. They're back in the 1911 game. They are making a inexpensive or market competitive pricing on a full frame 1911. They're doing so by they do not have any MIM or cast parts in their firearms. They're all machined parts. Savage may not like it when I say this. You're getting a low-end race gun at a very competitive price.
Okay.
So when I say low end, I'm saying that their full frame 1911 has better parts in most of your Kimber handguns now, because Kimber now use cast and MIM parts in their 1911s now. Savage is not.
Now, for those that don't know what MIM means, what does that refer to?
Metal injection molding is what MIM is.
Oh, okay.
Savage is not utilizing any MIM parts in their 1911. They're all machined.
Wow. Okay. And what now? I'm assuming that you got to hold it and run the action on it and everything. How does it feel?
It feels like I kind of want to buy one.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Really, and that's surprising. I mean, it's no secret that, the past, I don't know, 10 years, Savage has gone and, was focused on the rifle game and the inexpensive rifle game for the most part. And to hear that they've come full circle and they're getting back into the handgun game, I'm even curious and may have to go check one out.
So also I stopped by Silencer Central. So I've been working with Silencer Central now for a year. I first encountered them last February at the NRA show. Silencer Central is a suppressor company that provides you with the opportunity to purchase a suppressor without ever leaving your home. So how does that work? It means you get on your computer, you go to silencercentral.com, you identify the suppressor that you want that will work with a weapon system that you have or one that you're going to purchase. You figure out everything that you need. They send you the information electronically. You begin filling it out. For a minor additional charge, they send you a fingerprinting kit. You fingerprint yourself at home. You put it back in your mailbox. Your mail delivery person picks it up, sends it back to Silencer Central. They process all of your paperwork for you. They send it in to the government. Then you wait for an obscene amount of time, and then the government approves the process. They send the information back to Silencer Central. They notify that you were approved. You signed a couple of more documents via your computer. They send a letter to your local law enforcement office to let them know that they are mailing or shipping you a suppressor to your residence. Then they put it in the mail, and your mailman brings it to your front door. You sign for the package and you receive your suppressor.
It sounds like Christmas.
It's fantastic.
That is great.
They have some incredible industry leading suppressors. So I purchased 2 through them last year after meeting with them at the NRA show. I have the Banish 46 and the Banish 30. So it's a 45 caliber suppressor and a 30 caliber suppressor. The 45 caliber suppressor I bought specifically for my custom 4570 build, and then my 30 caliber, or the Banish 30, is for some other toys that I happen to own. So I met with them again. We had some good conversations. Who else did I see? Looked at some e-bikes. Al, I've been I've been playing around in the e-bike market for the last year, and I've met with several different companies. I've researched a multitude of states and their regulations on e-bikes. There was 5 e-bike companies at the Great American Outdoor Show, and looked at all 5 of them, some of them very similar. One of them, and I don't remember the name of it, unfortunately, I should have wrote better notes down. It has 2 front and rear wheels on it. It's a very abstract e-bike. Had some really, really good engagements with those folks, and something that I'll share briefly, and maybe we need to have a podcast specific to e-bikes. The common denominator across the states right now is 750 watts. If you're interested in purchasing an e-bike for outdoor and or hunting use, focus on the 750 watt bike, and a bike that you can disconnect your throttle from. Most states require pedal assist only. They do not want you to utilize a throttle. So whether you go with a hub drive or a mid drive, and there's positives and benefits to that as well. And we're not going to turn this into an e-bike podcast, but you either choose a mid drive or a hub drive, 750 watt bike. If you go with a 1,000 watt bike, you need to be able to change the wattage within the bike computer, and then also be able to disconnect that throttle. And then you can ride that e-bike legally anywhere that you can ride a mountain bike.
I do love that about these e-bikes, and having tried a couple out at the different shows. I'm very impressed. That I'm curious about that one company with 4 tires on it. I have not heard of that yet, but I'll have to check it out.
They're interesting. Met up with PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery. Super great guy. Nice. He was moving about the showroom floor, doing some of their quick podcast videos, sales videos, marketing videos, sharing his thoughts and opinions of some of the equipment that was there. Zinger Fletches was there. For those that don't know, I'm a huge fan of Zinger Fletches. Look at zingerfletches.com. They're a molded plastic polymer fletch for your arrows. They have a 3 and a 4 vein fletch. There's no glue. There's no hot water. There's no heat. They compress onto the shaft of your arrow, and they are extremely accurate. Al's seen them in action. They were there. It was great to see them at the booth. I bumped into a friend of mine. I met Marissa Hawley. She is a young developing huntress out of Maine. The girl can call turkey and waterfowl like a professional. And she was there with Sean Mann Duck Calls. Her father is heavily involved with outdoor adventures for veterans, and that's how I met the family. Marissa was there cranking on duck calls, having a good time. It was great. I haven't seen her for a couple of years, and it's fun watching her develop. Ran into some other familiar faces randomly throughout the shows. They were walking by the booth. There was 2 gentlemen from Pennsylvania that happened to be in Southern Maryland last September. They were sick of hunting, and we came out of the same trailhead together. They randomly followed me back to the RV park I was staying in, and they were two spots down from where I was at. We end up engaging, talking, making plans for a future hunt. They both were at hunting in saddles, and one of the guys was talking about his knees bothering him, and it was limiting him to hunting for 2 to 3 hours at a shot in a saddle. So I sent him out with my Latitude knee pads, and he sent me a text from the tree talking about how amazing they were. So I gave them to him. I said, just keep them and keep saddle hunting. They happened to be at the show today. It was great to see them. I saw Anthony from First Contact Outdoors. He showed up, shot a quick video with me. He's an archer in Maryland. Great guy, trying to do wonderful things for veterans and the veteran community. He's donated to the A3G. Met him at the Pennsylvania Total Archery Challenge last year, and we'll get to see each other again this year at the challenge. He was wandering around the show. There's a group of guys called Rutten River Pursuit Podcast, R2 Podcast. Those guys have some great rigs. I met one of their members at the Pennsylvania TAC last summer. It was good to see them. I wandered through the through the guide fitters hall, but I did not stop and speak with anybody. I didn't have time this trip, and I'm not booking a hunt for this year, but I do intend to book a hunt with somebody within the next couple of years. Cause Al, I never have, I've never booked a guided hunt, and whether it's going to be a turkey hunt or a deer hunt, I'd kind of like to do that one day. So I think I'm going to pick a year at the Great American Outdoor Show in 2024, 2025. And I'm going to spend a day walking through all the guide fitters, and I'm just going to go book a hunt so that I can say that I did and I had that experience.
Right on.
They have a fish pond for kids. They had 3 different breweries on site with kiosks. So you could have a Delaware or a Pennsylvania microbrew while you were walking around the show. They had a food court and a lot of different food vendors there. There was a couple of outdoor celebrities wandering around the floor. It was just a great time, and it was super busy.
I got to say, for someone that didn't have a whole lot of time outside of the booth, you hit up quite a few places, some quality places too. It's great to hear. Were you only there for Saturday, Sunday, or are you staying throughout the week here?
No, I had Saturday, Sunday.
Gotcha.
So we set up our booth, and Saturday morning I look down one of the aisles and I saw Center Boot Company. I connected with Center Boot Company at the Pennsylvania Total Archery Challenge last year. They're the only Crispy dealer in the state of Pennsylvania, and they donated a pair of Crispy boots to the A3G last year for 2022, and they were right there inside. I walked over and saw Deborah. She's one of the owners. We had a great conversation, and she was very apologetic. She hadn't responded to my email for them to participate in 2023. And she said they're most likely going to participate again, but it was great to see them again. It was just a lot of fun.
That's so great to hear, Aaron. I'm glad that you got to make it out there and hit the floor and talk to so many people. And I'm sure that those that do listen to this will spark their interest for next year. And even I'm looking forward to next year. I'm thinking that this is a show that I need to attend.
I tell you, I miss seeing our Badlands brand there. I think it would be great if Badlands had a booth out there one year to test the water. All of the bow manufacturers have pulled out of the NRA show. The first year that I went, they were all there. The archery room was jam-packed. The entire back wall was shooting lanes, and you could shoot every new flagship bow on the market. I really, really wish our major bow manufacturers would find value in those opportunities again. It's disheartening.
Yeah, I hope that changes in the next couple of years. That's probably one of the most common things that I hear at the shows. I really wish this bow manufacturer was here. I wish I could shoot this. Some people that they can get out to a show like this and they can hit every place that they want to, but they can't. Some people have, it's 2 hours to get to their local pro shop, but they can go here and they can hit up everybody that they want to, and it works really well for them. So hopefully they'll change their minds.
That's my biggest disappointment of the NRA show right now, is that the first year that I went, all the major bow brands were there, and now the last 2 years they have not.
Let me ask you this. What's your, because I know we got to wrap this up here pretty quick. What's your next show that you're going to? Is that the show that you're going to with your dad?
It is the Pacific Northwest Sportsman's Outdoor Show. It's in Portland, Oregon. So the sports show company, they host 3 shows up in the Northwest. Portland, Oregon is one of them. I believe it's the biggest of the 3. I could be wrong, but I believe it's the biggest of the 3. And I grew up going to that show with my dad, and I haven't been with him for 30 years. So I'm really excited to get up there and go to that show with him.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that and hearing about that experience again with him. You're going coast to coast with shows. That's great.
Al, we have to talk about last night. For our listeners, we wrapped up the show. It was late. It was 8:15, 8:30 at night. I mean, that's not late, but when you've been working a show with that volume of people and talking all day long, you're on your feet the entire time. It's late at night. We're all hungry, and we go to the Appalachian Brewery in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I'm sitting down at the table with the team, sipping a beer and waiting for our food to come. And I look 2 tables over, and I see Al Quackenbush staring me in the face. Now, bear in mind, Al's in California. He's in Long Beach, California. I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We could not be much further apart, yet I'm sitting there staring at Al 2 tables away. So I pull my phone out and I surreptitiously take a picture of Al sitting in this restaurant with me, and I send it to Al and some of our friends. And the text thread of jokes that flow from this picture, it was, my face hurt from laughing. I got up from the table and I walked over and introduced myself to this gentleman and his wife, and the other couple that they were having dinner with ended up taking a picture with him. And other than the fact that he was wearing glasses, spitting image of you.
I showed that picture to my wife, and even she did a double take, and she said, wow, that is incredible. And
it was eerie.
It was. I looked at, I mean, you would have thought we were brothers, like
twins.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable. There's my doppelganger right there.
It was great.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Really good laugh about that. They loved it.
That's great. That was a fun thread to be a part of. And I love the fact that we can all take a joke. Well, it sounds like you had a great time, a great weekend in Pennsylvania. I'm glad that we got to connect tonight, and that all of our listeners could partake and live vicariously through you, as I did. And I look forward to connecting with you after your show in Portland.
Portland's going to be great. Highly recommend people take the opportunity to come out to the NRA Great American Outdoor Show. Yeah, you'll spend some money.
I know I will. I better start saving now.
Right
awesome.
on.
Great chatting with you, Aaron. I'll talk to you soon.
Be limitless, Al.
Well, that's a wrap for episode 2. If you made it this far, Chubbs would like to extend his gratitude for suffering through Sprocket's raspy, hoarse voice from 48 hours of non-stop expo action. We would like to thank our 4 title sponsors. If you're a company or you have a piece of gear that you would like to have showcased or reviewed on Sprocket and Chubbs, reach out to us on our websites or at sprocketandchubbs@gmail.com and let us know. Stay tuned for episode 3 of Sprocket and Chubbs.